Do these 5 things when you suspect your girl is cheating. Now, this video, I was inspired to do this video and actually requested to do this video from one of my subscribers. And I just made some notes. I'm going to shout out to Jesse Wickline. That's the subscriber name. So thank you for this, man, and sharing your story. So this video, that's what I'm going to get into, is sharing, not only sharing his story, but you need to do these 5 things when you suspect that she's cheating. Okay, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification button because I'm dropping a video every day. All right. So thanks again, Jesse, for asking me to do this video. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to cover 5 things that you need to do when you suspect that she's cheating. But first, I'm going to share with all of you what Jesse shared with me in terms of why asking if I could do this video. Okay, so if you see me looking off to the sides, because I don't want to miss anything, and I made a bunch of notes. So this is what he had to say. He said, "We've been married 12 years and have 3 sons. Lately, I've been noticing changes in behavior. She's disrespectful. She's distant. She's going out with girlfriends more often. Her phone is left upside down on the charger. She's not wearing our wedding ring anymore. She's blaming me for treating her a certain way whilst she is actually doing that very same thing." Okay. And so then he asked, maybe you can make a video on what to do from here. I've been considering hiring a private investigator. Oh, she works at the gym as a personal trainer, so she's literally gone all the time. It's hard to distinguish whether or not she's working out or doing other things. Not to mention, she makes absolutely no financial contributions, even though she's working now. Whew, God. Man, that's a thanks. So thanks, Jesse, for sharing all this with me and with all the viewers here. And guys, I want to hear your comments on what you would recommend he do if you were in his situation. So these are my comments, okay, on the 5 things. So first of all, just to set the stage in terms of why am I qualified to even give any advice, all right? Well, I was married before 20 years. Okay, I do not have any children. That makes things a lot more complicated with leaving a situation, moving out of the city, alimony, child support, all these things. But I was married for 20 years. And I've been single for 2.5 years. So in my 2.5 years, I've gone on hundreds of dates with women. And I'm talking the first dates. Okay, so I've gone on hundreds, and dating right now as an older guy is way easier than it is when I was younger. And one of the reasons why I created this YouTube channel is to share my stories and all the things that I had, the successes and the fuck ups I had both in my marriage, and that continues to happen when I'm dating. Like, don't think, guys, that just because I have this channel and I'm the Silver Bachelor that I'm like a black belt master at dating and I have all the answers. No, man. Sometimes I have a situation that comes up and I'm like, damn, I did not expect that, right? In general, I think I'm pretty damn good to identify things, but I have, I'm mortal like you guys are, and I have a weakness just like all of us share, and that is when a beautiful, beautiful woman that you are super, super attracted to, it's like, it's our kryptonite, man. That's where my biggest fuck ups are. It's like when I'm really into a woman and you start to compromise things and you're like, well, maybe I can overlook this, but you know in your gut that it's wrong. Anyways, so back to this. So, all right. So I'm looking at my notes, and here are some of the things that I've recognized, right? Is first of all, I love the book Art of War by Sun Tzu. Okay, The Art of War, Sun Tzu. I love learning about wars from the past and military strategy. I'm fascinated about all that. Like, I watched a whole 2-hour thing on Alexander the Great and how he beat all these armies over time. And just quick side note, if you guys don't know this, there's only one reason why he actually didn't go into India, and probably could have taken India as well. And that is because his army, for 8 years, they've been traveling. 8 years, his soldiers were not with their wife, not with their kids, not with their family. 8 years marching, destroying, winning, right? All the way from Greece, basically, to in the border of India. So, wow, crazy. The only reason why he didn't go into India and take over India is because his army gave up. They caused a mutiny and they said, Alexander, that's it. We're done. We're done. No more fighting. We miss our families. We're going back. We're not fighting for you anymore. That's the only reason. It's just pretty fucking crazy. Anyways, I don't want to go on and on about different warfare strategies and things like that, but like it's pretty wild. So why this is important is because in dating, right, you need to know yourself and you need to know your enemy. To use this book in its right terminology, right? Women are not your enemy, but this is what I mean. Who are you trying to get a date with? Who are you trying to have a relationship with? And you need to understand them and know them, just like you need to understand yourself. Just like, excuse me, when you're in a relationship or you're thinking of exiting that relationship, you need to know yourself and you need to know your, say it like this, your now enemy. And what do you do? So Jesse, what was his name? Jesse, yes. Jesse asked me, right, what should I do? So these are the 5 things, okay? So number 1, do not have a conversation with your wife, okay? Don't do that. Don't have a conversation with her because women typically are not logical. They get all wrapped up in emotions and they can't be logical and have a logical conversation like us men do. Okay? So don't even talk to her. You've listed all these things. You know what's happening. Okay? She's already checked out. And bro, I will say this and I will share this with you, my personal story. So in my marriage of 20 years, she checked out at like year 3. And I didn't pick up on it. I tried to work with it. And once a woman checks out, it's over. And I'm sorry to say it that way. But so now you need to think, okay, so what do I do, right? So, and I'll share this one thing with you guys in terms of the first sign she's checked out is when basically she doesn't want to kiss you romantically anymore. Now you're just getting a peck on the lips. You're not getting the whole tongue action and making out. Nope, it's never that. It's just tongue. You might still have sex, but she's not kissing you in a romantic way like she used to. She's already checked out. I'm sorry, bro. So, number 1, do not have a conversation with her because they're not logical. She's not going to be logical about it. Number 2, this is the big one, and this is whole art of war thing. Plan your exit. So, I am assuming, Jesse, that you've accepted that she's checked out, right? And you want to know now, what do I do? Okay. So number 2 is you need to start planning your exit. So hire your private investigator because you want to collect some evidence. But I just don't know where you're living. In Canada, that kind of stuff doesn't really matter. There's no like, well, you get more if she's being adulterous. She's cheating on you, so you get more money. And now there's none of that in Canada, and that's where I'm originally from. So maybe where you are, that could work to your favor. But also, the fact you mentioned you have 3 children, that could be a really, really good thing. So go ahead, plan your exit, hire a private investigator, okay? Speak to a lawyer, and most importantly, set up a new bank account. Now, this one obviously won't be joint. This will be yours. But basically, you want to be in a position of, as soon as, like, let's assume you're working, you have an employer. You want to be in a position where you know, okay, before you drop a bomb on her and you tell her what's going on, you've already switched your payroll to go into your new bank account. That's what I did. I started planning my exit and I hired a lawyer. I wanted to know what am I in for? And what are the particulars around my exit? I don't have children, so and then being in Canada, the PI wasn't a factor. So the PI, the private investigator. So hired a lawyer just to find out my options. Okay. Next, opened up that bank account. I was ready, man, to switch my payroll. Boom. Okay. You're not going to move money over and all that stuff. No. But you need to have it there in case you need to switch your payroll, because women can be very vindictive. And when you drop a bomb and you say, I'm ending the marriage, I'm filing a divorce, whatever, she's going to ask very quickly. And you need to be like, again, like the art of war, you need to prepare yourself for battle and you need to be ready for it. So that's number two, plan your exit, and in secret. In secret. Don't tell your friends, just do it by yourself, because friends tend to talk, right? Unless it's one of your buddies. But even then, I would say just keep it to yourself, right? So that's number two. Number three, know your options and accept the pain and costs, right? So when you speak to the lawyer is going to unfortunately bring some bad news to you. And he's going to say, okay, well, you've been married for this many years, you have this many children, and you earn this income, because I'm assuming you earn, well, no, you said you earn more than her, and she's just only recently started working. So the bad news is that you're going to be in for some financial heartache for a set term. That's the bad news. You're going to be nailed for alimony. You're going to be nailed for child support. That's a reality. But bro, I tell you this, as a guy that was married for 20 years, so exiting that marriage has cost me financially. Okay. There's nothing worth more than your mental and your physical health. Fuck the money. Pay it. It's worth it. Your freedom is worth the price. Think about it this, man. How many prisoners, if they had a 25-year sentence, right? And the lawyer came to them and said, look, I spoke to the judge. Excuse the sirens if you hear the sirens. I spoke to the other parties, whatever. We can get your 25-year sentence reduced to 5 years. But you're going to have to pay a fine of $250,000. Who the fuck that's in jail would not take that and run? They'd be like, sweet, I'll pay the $250,000 because now I can get out in 5 years instead of 25 years. This is my point, bro. You're going to have to pay money. You're going to have to accept that, and it's going to be a lot. It's going to hurt, but it's better. If you're free, you don't have to deal with the shit. And the problem is that when you're in a situation like that, I know what you're going through, man. It's draining. It's life sucking. Brutal. Okay? So, in fact, I'll share this. I started drinking more. I stopped going to the gym when I was going through all that before I left the marriage. Like, it was weighing down on me. I wasn't keeping jobs. Like, it was all these problems. And now that I'm single, I'm like way fucking happier. I'm like, yeah, take my money. Boom, go. So that's number three, is know your options, and just accept the cost and the pain for paying that cost. Number four, when you have all those things in order and you've made the decision that you're now going to leave, you're going to divorce because you're aware of all the options, you have your own bank account, you've this is part of number four, is you need to act swiftly. Okay, when you say it's done, well, even before you say it's done, this is what I would recommend. I would have a new lease already signed. Your bank is already switched over. Now, obviously, you want to have a conversation with her before she notices, hey, how can the payroll didn't get into the account? So you act swiftly. Just like when you're terminating a bad employee or an employee that the company doesn't want anymore, they don't sugar bush around it. They pull the employee in the office, they sit them down, and they say, well, I wish I had better news, but today we're letting you go. And here's some paperwork. We're giving you your 2 weeks notice, and it's just not a fit for us anymore. We're going in a different direction. Know what I mean? It's like, boom, right in the forehead, boom. That's how I fire people. There's no fucking around. I sit them down, boom, you're fired. And here's what we're paying you. It's done. It's over. So that's what I mean. Number four, you act quickly. You already have your lease signed. You have your payroll now moved over and going into your new account. And you have a move out date. So that's the conversation you have with her when you're ready to leave. It's like terminating an employee. You say, whatever her name is, let's say her name is Kim. You say, Kim, this isn't working out. I decided to move on. I'm moving out on this date. I've switched my banking. My payroll is this, and I've signed a lease. And so, I really enjoyed my time with you up until lately, but this is how it's going to be. So I'm hoping we can be cordial in this process. It's like, boom, completely blindsided, because that's what Sun Tzu would do, and that's how you should be with now your enemies. Boom, blindside. Number 5, this is the last one, is prepare for war. Okay. Now, however, I'll leave you with this. The best wars never actually happen. That's why it's important you say, look, I'm hoping we can be cordial. I will help you with the transition. Like, again, you're the employer and you're firing an employee. Rarely does an employer want a confrontational exit. They give them a box. They've already removed their privileges of swipe cards and all that stuff. It's all been done in advance. Their emails don't work. But you tell them, you say, hey, look, you won't be able to log into your email. Your swipe card won't work. I will assist you with packing up anything that you need. And, we're paying you more than typical for your, we only typically have to, let's just say, I'm just giving an example. We only have to pay you 2 weeks, but we're actually going to give you 3 weeks instead. And here's the paperwork. Let me know if there's anything in your computer that you need, and we'll get that for you. You know what I mean? Like you're just, it's classy. Your exit is class. You're still terminating their employment, using your wife as an example, but you're still terminating the marriage, but you're classy with it, and you're not fighting, you're not arguing, you're not raising. Don't ever do this. Don't raise your voice. Be very stoic. Okay. This is a business transaction. Think about that. Or like an employer. You don't want this employee anymore, right? And treat it as if that she's an employee. And I know it sounds a little heartless, but that's how you have to be. Heartless, but merciful, if that makes sense. Just like an employer terminates an employee, again, just remind yourself of that. When you terminate someone, you're going to terminate someone, or you've been terminated. Let me ask you this. Has it ever been a confrontational situation from the employer's standpoint? Probably not, because the employer doesn't want a lawsuit, doesn't want to have war, right? They want to avoid a war. So that's number 5. That's what I'm encourage you to do. But be prepared for a war, because she may get all nasty with you and go, what the fuck, and all this stuff, and want to hire a lawyer. And look, in my situation, my ex-wife and I, we did not hire a lawyer. We sorted it out without that. We didn't go to war. So I'm grateful for that. All right, I hope these tips are helpful. And for the rest of you watching, drop some more suggestions on what you think Jesse could do in his situation. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.